spectacular. Give him 14 of them right now.
Hey guys, welcome to 3 Mississippi. Sid here. Thanks for clicking on the video. We have some stuff to do today. I've got some stuff I gotta do in the kitchen. I got some stuff I gotta do at the church. I got some stuff I gotta do outside. We're gonna see how much stuff I can get to and how much stuff I can cram into this video. So let's get to work.
Cook right now?
Yeah, so I have taught Frankie how to do a lot of things.
Mom, the last time I baked with you, I was like 6.
That's not accurate.
Well,
but
the last time I helped you make scones, we lived here, but that's not the point. The time before that, I was 6.
I don't think that's accurate.
I think it is.
Frankie decided she wanted to make a box cake and misread the directions, and instead of putting 2/3 a cup of water, she put 2 and 2/3 cup of water.
I thought it was a lot of water.
So it came out like runny, of course. So I'm trying to have her fix it a little bit. We're going to see how this turns out, but we added some flour and a little bit more baking soda, and we're going to see if it perks it up.
Need to use it to fill a pothole.
Probably.
It tastes good.
Yeah, it's a good thing you're pretty, because you can't even make a box cake, girly pop.
I can make a steak. That's
true.
what matters.
Okay, good point. So these are the 2 most recent buckets, and they've gone down a little bit because I let them sit in the mudroom just to kind of like let the berries ripen just a little bit more before I process them to stick them in the freezer. That was loud. Before I process them to stick them in the freezer. Frankie pulled her cake out of the oven. I'm going to show you guys this abortion of a cake. So, oh, oops, didn't put anything under it. So it was very dry. So we poked holes in it and poured condensed milk in it, and we're just letting it cool, and then she's gonna frost it. So it'll be more of like a dulce de leche cake out of a box, sort of. But it came out, it's very dense. I told her, I was like, it's gonna be more like a bread than a cake consistency because of how everything went down. So she's excited about it still. It was her little project, and that's fine. That's totally fine. So I'm gonna get started on processing these berries. I've got my system here. I unfortunately don't have a larger wire mesh strainer than this. So I have to do kind of a little bit at a time and then rinse them and then put them in my big catch bucket. I'm estimating that it'll probably fill up to about here. And then I put all my little twigs and stuff in here, and I throw these out to the birds because, you know, you miss some berries and whatever, and then that lets them get the rest. So for those of you that don't know, elderberries, a lot of places in the South actually kind of grow wild. And we have some that are wild along the creek, but we have some that were purposely planted by the previous owner up here closer to the house. And so those are the ones that I harvest to make the syrup. Elderberry syrup has a lot of basically kind of medicinal properties. It's anti-inflammatory. It helps with the immune system, basically gives it a little bit of boost. It's got vitamin C in it. Important to note, these berries do stain, and you can't eat them raw. They're toxic if you eat them raw. Not good for you. You do have to make sure you cook them down when you are ready to actually like make the syrup. You got to really cook them to make sure you get all of that out, handled properly. So these, again, I'm not actually making the syrup today, but I like to have it on hand in the fridge during cold and flu season and into the beginning of allergy season, because I do use raw local honey in it, and that also helps with allergies and just gives your body a little boost. Frankie hates to drink it. She's not a fan. She says it tastes like Christmas in a cup, which you would think would be a good thing. She's not a fan. But so anyway, and I add, you know, a little bit of like cinnamon and nutmeg and stuff to zhuzh it a little bit. But you know, a few shots of this when you've been around somebody that's sick or you feel like something's coming on during that season is really good to have on hand. So if you have some elderberries around you, or you want to start growing some elderberries, they are like my hostas, where they just continue to make pups. And so your one little tree is now like 3 little trees, right? And they're pretty resilient in my experience, but you do have to be on the lookout because the birds will get to them first. So that's why I have to kind of harvest them in stages as the different ones become ready, so that I don't lose all my berries to the birds. Oh, there's one of those squash bugs. I found out what the bugs are on the elderberries, by the way. If you've seen a previous video, they are squash bugs, Mike said, and apparently they like the elderberries as well. Because a lot of people were saying, oh, that's a stink bug. And I was like, but they don't have a smell, and they don't, like when I've squished them and stuff, and they don't have a smell, and they kind of fly, but they're weird, and I don't know. Anyway, that's what they are. They're squash bugs. So mystery answered. So then you just pick off all the berries until they're in your strainer. And then you keep doing this till your strainer's full. And then you wash it. And you flick a squash bug. All right, so now I'm going to rinse it off. And you'll get some kind of color out of the bottom a little bit as you rinse them, because you kind of sometimes might squish a berry or two here and there. And then if I see any like twigs that got put in there, I kind of pull those out, because that'll make it bitter too if you've got too many tree branches in there later. Oops. But you're not going to get them all, just because it's like impossible. So you just try to get them as many little sticks and twigs out as you can. And then we dump it into our keeper bowl. And we do that about 47,000 more times. So I'll show you what I end up with at the end. Frankie's gonna write a little something on it, but this is the finished product after she put I think she didn't wait long enough for it to cool as I recommended, but it's fine.
I want to eat it, so whatever.
Okay, Miss
It's
Ma'am.
not gonna look pretty.
All right, we'll do the taste test in a second. All right, kiddo. Let's see.
I need a fork. I don't have a fork. Hold on.
Try your cake.
It's pretty good.
Is it?
Yeah. For everything I went through, I don't know if I'd say it was worth it, but it's
decent.
It's cinnamony, sugary. It's a cake.
It was a cinnamon toast crunch box cake that we had to try to fix. So now it's a messy bread dulce de leche situation.
I'm pretty good.
No, go team. All right, we got 2 empty buckets now. And here I got a couple. I gotta clean the floor because I spilled a little bit, because they tend to get everywhere. I still got some bugs to kill. I'll have to clean out the sink still. This is the aftermath. Just kind of whatever. But this is my bowl here, my big bowl. I still have to put it into the thing, but it's up to, well, it's not really flat. It's up to here on the side of the bowl, which it's a pretty big bowl. So, and that's all my aftermath that's going to go out to the birds. But when I tell you that this stuff stains, it does. I haven't washed my hands yet, but this is like, it will come off, but like you don't want to get it on your clothing. And I'm going to scrub out the sink because it's going to stain the sink if I leave it. But it's a look, right? It's a look. So let me get these into some Ziploc bags. I like to gently get the air out and get it so I can like lay them flat, you know, and then I shake them so it's like, you know, can go like flat in the freezer, and then I stack them up. So here we go. 2 1-gallon bags of elderberries ready to be laid into the freezer to be put in a saucepan to be boiled in a couple of months when it's time to actually make my elderberry syrup. I'm gonna toss this out to the birds. Here we go. Got these couple bags over here and those couple bags over there. I got the rest of those birds. For those of you that watched me build this, I still got to move this to a different location. But I got the rest of the birds corralled in here that had gone rogue, and all the ducks in here, and fillet down there at the bottom. I moved Anne and Caroline up here because this patch was getting overgrown in the holding pen, so I got them up here for a while. Come here, babies. Come on. They'll find it eventually. They're all lazing over there. Hi, buds. Living their best life. But here's a good example, guys, of a bunch where like half of the bunch is ripe and then the other half on the same cluster is still just green berries. So what I did in some of mine is I would clip like that. And there's a few more even just since yesterday that are ready over here now. But I think I've had my fill. I just spent about 2.5 hours processing 2 buckets full of berries. I'm good for now. Besides, I have to start making the shepherd's pie. So back in the kitchen I go. So I have not made shepherd's pie in a minute, but we're gonna make shepherd's pie. I've got some ground lamb. I know some people will say, oh, you know, shepherd's pie, make it with ground beef. No, that's cottage pie. Fun fact. Anyway, so I'm making an actual shepherd's pie, but I'm not making mashed potato tops. I'm making a squashed potato topper for it. So I gotta get the potatoes started first. So that's what we're gonna prep right now. So I'm gonna go throw this in my pot that I have water in, and I'm gonna add a bunch of salt and some garlic to the water and let them start cooking. Normally when I make mashed potatoes, if I know ahead of time or as soon as I know, I prep the potatoes and soak them in water with salt and some parsley and garlic and black pepper because it really, really seasons them well. And then you have like the most amazing mashed potatoes you'll ever have in your life. And even though I knew I was going to be making these, and they're not technically, I'm not making mashed potatoes, but I'm still making like kind of a potato mash, if you will. That's gonna go on top. I should have done that before I did the elderberries, but I didn't because life, so they'll still be fine. And clean as you go. Hi ho, hi ho. And then as you can see, I washed my hands a few times. I'm no longer caught red-handed. So I gotta prep my onion because that is what is gonna start the base of my filling essentially for my shepherd's pie. Some people do a crust on a shepherd's pie, some people don't. I've done it both ways. We're not doing a crust on it today. There's also different ways to make the filling or like where the vegetables and the meat and the kind of gravy are. I like to make it like a roux when I do mine. Some recipes call to basically just do like butter and tomato paste. Anytime a recipe calls for tomato paste, I generally omit it or substitute it with like fresh tomatoes or something else, which I know is not the same, but I find a workaround because anytime I cook anything with tomato paste in it, Mike gets really bad agita, like heartburn that night. So tomato paste is like a trigger for him. So we do not play with tomato paste. So generally I don't cook with it. Now, one of our subscribers did send us a chopper that he's probably going to leave a comment saying, why aren't I using this? And Larry, let me tell you, I like that and I use it a lot. I use it when I make my tuna salad. I use it when I make my cowboy caviar, but there's certain things that I like more of a rougher, less uniform chop on. And if I'm only doing like one onion, sometimes too, I just like to hack at it. Get your aggression out, you know? But I do love the tool you gave me and I do use it. And we always appreciate when y'all send us something sweet or something you've made. It's amazing and we always appreciate that. And we do use them. So cold pan, I'm gonna throw these onions into this pan cold and I'm gonna slowly bring the temperature up as I cook the onion. The onion. While it's doing that, I'm gonna chop up a few fresh carrots. I'm also gonna be adding a few frozen carrots because typically it's carrots and peas and corn. Some people add corn, some don't. I like to do a frozen medley of like the little cut green beans, the peas, the corn, and the carrots. But I also like to add some fresh carrots in there that I've cooked down to help with the roux. So that's what I'm gonna do. Carrots, baby. Get you some carrots. Get some of these bigger chunks cut down a tad. I do not cut things uniformly. I know you're supposed to. I never do. And it's fine. It's fine. Not everything has to be perfect and not everything is Pinterest. Right? Right. Life is life. When you're a busy mom and you're trying to get things done and chopped, it doesn't all have to be perfect. We're gonna set this aside to add to that pot in a little while. Potatoes just came up to a boil, so I just turned them down. The onions are sweating in the pot, and I'm about to add a little bit of garlic. or a lot of bit of garlic, because shepherd's pie is where my Irish and Italian ancestry merge. And do that with about 47 more cloves of garlic, or until your ancestors whisper for you to stop. Or in my case, scream, because I always put a lot of garlic. Got my garlic and my onions, making that caramelization on the bottom. Now I'm gonna take some red wine that I use for cooking here. Throw some of that in the bottom. And scrapey, scrapey. Get all that goodness off the bottom of the pan. Look at that. Woo, that's good. Add my lamb in here. Oh, I can smell that lamb. It smells so good. Lamb has like a very, to me, particular smell, and I don't know how to classify it other than it smells like lamb. Just sort of like when you open a package of ground beef, it smells like ground beef, like lamb. And I mean, this obviously is not one of our lambs, but I've made this with our lambs in the past. And of course, it's always better when it's your own. I'm gonna stick you on the potatoes for a minute. Get this meat kind of broken up into the onions a little bit. Adding just a little bit of this, which is, it's game tame. I use this a lot when I'm making venison and things like that, but it's basically like soy sauce and Worcestershire and some seasonings and stuff, and I use that a lot in like venison dishes. Sometimes I'll marinate a steak in it, because that's how my dad always made steaks, with soy sauce, red wine, Worcestershire, garlic, pepper, you know. So that's how it reminds me of that, and it's usually a crowd pleaser. Now, lamb is very lean, okay? So if you want to have your roux have a little bit more fat into it, add some bacon grease, add a little bit of lard, maybe add a little bit of pork fat if that's your jam. I don't do that, but do you, boo-boo? It's already making its own gravy here, right? Because I deglazed the pan with that red wine. I added a little bit of that game tame, which is like Worcestershire, a little bit of soy sauce and some seasonings. And it's starting to make its own little roux, but I'm not done with it yet. I'm gonna add, I don't have fresh parsley, unfortunately, but I'm gonna add some dried parsley. And I always rub it between my hands, it kind of like wakes it up a little bit. And you saw how much garlic I put in there, right? I always add a little garlic powder as well. Call me crazy. But if it doesn't choke a vampire, it's not worth my time. A lot of ground pepper. Now, I don't add any salt to this. Here's why. The soy sauce and the Worcestershire, both very salty, and the potatoes are gonna be salty, and that's going on top of it. So I don't salt this part. Come for me if you want, but trust me, if you add salt to this and that, it's gonna end up being too salty. I've also got some herbes de Provence here, and I'm gonna put some of this in here too. This is really like, for me, herbes de Provence is one of those really great things to use with lamb. It's very earthy, and it just enhances the flavor, to me, of the lamb. Some people don't like herbes de Provence because it does have a little bit of lavender in it. Some people don't like that, but it's got, you know, I think there's like sage and thyme and savoy and basil and marjoram and tarragon, and yeah, it's got all the heavy hitters, you know. Now I'm going to start sprinkling in just a little bit of flour. I'm getting that stirred in. Let this thicken up just a little bit, because when you add some of your vegetables, it's going to kind of make it more wet again. Now, I did realize, normally, before I added the meat in, I would have added the carrots, but I didn't do that to kind of caramelize them too. But that's okay, it's not the end of the world, I'm gonna add them now. And I guess I could have caramelized them in a separate pan, but I'm kind of watching the clock because we do have to leave to get to church for pantry boxes. So there's that. I'm gonna add a little bit more flour. You always want to have time to let your roux cook after you add flour, because you don't want to eat raw flour. You want it to really properly cook. Ooh, it's looking good. Now I'm gonna add a little bit of stock. Now, if we had processed this lamb ourselves, I would have some lamb stock to use, but I don't have that. And I cannot, for the life of me right now, find the venison stock that I thought we still had some of. So, we're adding some chicken stock. Not the end of the world. Now we play the game of adding a little stock, adding a little flour, adding a little stock, adding a little flour to get it the consistency that you want. I'm just about good there. Go ahead and turn those off. I'm gonna get the oven preheated because I do want to stick it in the oven for a little while. It'll do two things. It's gonna make the potatoes nice on top once I put those on top and kind of crisp them up a little bit. And then it's going to kind of help solidify the innards, if you will. And obviously, if you're doing any kind of pastry shell, you definitely want to put it in the oven. Clean as you go. I like to add just a little bit of coriander. And this is some cayenne peppers. I think this is the one that's mixed with the garlic that Mike made. I need more to come out. Just gives it a little kick. I know typically Irish people don't like their food spicy, but I like to add a little something in there. So I just tasted it just to see if it was at the right flavor that I wanted, and it needed a little something. So I added a little bit more red wine, a little bit more chicken stock, and a little more garlic, because you can never have enough garlic. This is also helping get it to a little more the consistency that I want, and that's going to keep cooking down. Now remember how I said I did not add any salt to the other roux that has the meat and everything in it, because the potatoes are going to be saltier. Remember, I cooked them, I boiled them in essentially a brine. And then I just kind of squished them a bit. I'm not adding any milk to this. I did add a little bit of butter. Sometimes I'll add, if I have it, I might add a little sour cream to the potato topper. If I'm getting really fancy, I'll go ahead and make my full-blown mashed potatoes, but we're not doing that today. We're just doing a little bit of a topper. And then also at this point, if you like, you can add cheese. I try to stay away from dairy, so I'm not adding any of that. And yes, I did add a little bit of mayonnaise to this. Sue me. Okay, look at this. Ooh, oops. Just spilled a little bit. It's mad at me now. We got our carrots, our peas, our corn. Get this stirred in here. Let this cook for just a couple minutes. Guys, this filling, I just tasted it. It is so good. And I love doing kind of just the salty half smashed potatoes on top. Like I said, you can also mix some cheese on there and just kind of plop this on top. I'm just gonna add a couple little things of butter on the top of the potatoes in a few spots. Just real thin little slices where the potatoes are nice and thick. Look at that. Beautiful. Let's get it in the oven. Now remember, everything in there is already cooked, so really just kind of getting that crispiness on top of the potatoes a little bit to whatever degree you like. Same thing if you had put cheese on the top to where it's nice and melted and crisped up. But really, I'll leave it in there for like 10 minutes. Don't poke it with your dirty fingers, ma'am.
Fingers are clean.
I don't know if that's accurate.
Except for that. Oh, well, that one. There's a hole in my nail, guys.
Good job. That's my shepherd's pie there. Frankie, you want to taste a bite?
I do.
All right. Just take out a little corner, baby.
No, you don't have to ruin it.
Oh my gosh. Okay, it's going to be boiling hot, so you got to really blow on it.
It's fine.
But see how it doesn't like, that's how you want it like thick. So it doesn't like just run everywhere. And then, you know, if you make a nice sourdough bread or something, which I did not do, that's always good on the side.
Because she's lame.
Oh yeah, I know. I've been in the kitchen all day. Calm down.
Spectacular. Give him 14 of them right now. Can I have a bowl?
Right now?
I'm hungry, Mom.
You're what? You're hungry now?
For my toe.
It's burning your toe?
It is.
Oh boy.
I've been hungry, but like, I can't put this back in there. That's gross.
No, you can't. That would be gross. All right, I'll make you a bowl.
Oh, Mommy loves me.
Say hi, Beth. Hi. I'm sweaty. I'm not going to stab you. I promise. Maybe.
That was my day today, guys. That was my Sunday. Took you around for pieces of it, you know, not the whole thing. Went to church in the morning, sat out there and filmed Sipping and Spilling. Got that uploaded. Helped Frankie rescue her cake a little bit. Still not very good. Honestly, I don't know. That cake was, I only tasted a little bit though, so maybe she likes it. That's all that matters. And the shepherd's pie, amazing, brilliant. In Frankie's words, give me 14 more of them. And then we went back to church to do pantry boxes, and then back home now to chill and get ready for bed and start all over again tomorrow. Thanks for hanging out with us, guys. I appreciate you, and make sure you are on the lookout in the next couple months if you're curious on how to make that elderberry syrup. I will show you how I make it. I do have videos on here from previous years of making it, so you can always check that as well on the channel, but we'll do it again. Appreciate you guys. As always, stay blessed, and remember, safety's off.